Opening scene. The apartment was never quiet. Even in the late hours of the night, when the city's hum dulled into a distant murmur, Monica could hear the faint clicking of Ethan's keyboard, the thud of his footsteps pacing from room to room, or the muffled voices from whatever shady conversations he entertained on his phone. Silence, to her, had become a luxury, one she hadn't been able to afford for years. 52. Monica was a woman who carried both her weight and her regrets in the same body. Her figure was round and soft, the kind of body that once radiated warmth when she held her son as a child. But now, she often felt her body was nothing more than an anchor, something heavy that dragged her down. A reminder of how she had been rooted in a life she never chose. Her face, rich brown and framed with curls beginning to gray, carried the traces of both resilience and exhaustion. That evening, she sat at the kitchen table, the glow of the overhead bulb flickering slightly, a plate of untouched dinner beans, cornbread, and a little fried chicken cooled in front of her. Ethan hadn't shown up to eat. He rarely did anymore. Ethan's entrance, the door slammed, as if the apartment itself had been hit. Monica's shoulders tensed. Ethan entered, tall and broad-shouldered, his presence filling the space with a heaviness that choked the air. At 28, he should have been building a life of his own, but instead he lived off hers, draining every last ounce of her energy and dignity. He glanced at the table, sneered, and kicked the leg of a chair. Cold again. You couldn't wait. Monica forced her voice to stay calm. I've been waiting all evening, baby. It's late. Don't call me baby, Ethan snapped. I'm not a child. But in Monica's eyes, he would always be her child. The same boy she once read bedtime stories to. The same boy who used to cry when he scraped his knee. Only now, that boy was gone, replaced by a man whose temper was a storm she had learned never to provoke. Monica's inner struggle. Monica stared at him as he wolfed down the food she'd cooked. She remembered the long hours she spent at her part-time job, standing on her feet until her legs ached, just to bring home enough to cover rent and groceries. Ethan didn't work, not anymore. He had other means of making money, though he never said it outright. But she saw the signs, the late-night calls, the stacks of cash he sometimes tossed carelessly onto the table, the bruises on his knuckles. She wanted to ask, she wanted to scream, but silence kept her alive. Every time she thought about pushing back, her mind replayed the image of his hand raised against her, the sharp sting on her cheek, the voice that hissed, "You'll regret talking back to me so." She swallowed her words along with her shame. Flashback. A mother's hope. There had been a time, years ago, when Monica believed she was raising a bright and gentle boy. Ethan was clever, sharp with numbers and words. Teachers used to call him gifted. Monica, working 2 jobs back then, still found the energy to sit with him at night and dream aloud of college, of careers, of a life where he would stand tall and proud, not in arrogance, but in achievement. But something had shifted. Maybe it was the friends he made in high school, maybe the anger that grew when his father abandoned them, or maybe it was something darker, a seed Monica never noticed until it had taken root. By the time she realized, it was too late. The control. After dinner, Ethan leaned back in his chair, pulling a cigarette from his pocket. He lit it, blowing smoke across the kitchen like it was his kingdom. "You need to stop nagging me about money," he said suddenly. "I'll handle it. You just keep doing what you're told." Monica lowered her eyes. "Ethan, I just want to make sure the rent." His hand slammed the table, rattling the dishes. "I said, I'll handle it." The echo of his anger reverberated through her chest. She nodded quickly, her voice breaking. Okay, baby, I mean it." Then he smirked, satisfied by her submission, and stood to leave. "Good, don't forget who keeps this place running." As the door to his room shut behind him, Monica pressed a trembling hand to her chest. She wanted to scream into the night, to break something, to run, but where would she go? Who would she turn to? Evelyn's presence. The next morning, Monica stood at the bus stop on her way to work. A woman in her 30s, Evelyn, often waited there too, tall, with a warm smile that seemed untouched by life's cruelties. Evelyn always greeted her kindly. "You look tired," Evelyn said gently. Monica forced a smile. "Just didn't sleep much." "You deserve better, you know," Evelyn replied, her voice almost conspiratorial. "You don't have to keep living like this." Monica stiffened. Did Evelyn know? Did she see the fear in Monica's eyes, the bruises she worked so hard to hide with long sleeves and makeup? Before Monica could answer, the bus arrived, and the moment slipped away. Nighttime terror. That night, Ethan came home later than usual. Monica was already in bed, but the sound of his heavy footsteps jolted her awake. He stormed into her room without knocking, his eyes bloodshot, his movements erratic. "Get up," he demanded. "I need you to do something for me." Fear flooded her veins. "Ethan, it's past midnight. Don't argue," he barked, grabbing her arm. His grip was iron, his nails digging into her skin. He shoved a small package into her hands. "Take this to the address I texted you. Don't ask questions. Just do it." Monica stared at the package, her heart pounding. She didn't need to ask what was inside. She knew. Drugs, or worse. For the first time in years, something inside her whispered, "This has to end." As Monica sat in the back of a cab hours later, the package heavy in her purse, her reflection stared back at her from the window. A 52-year-old woman, soft around the edges, eyes rimmed with fear, but beneath that fear flickered something else, something she hadn't felt in a long time. Resolve. She didn't know what tomorrow would bring. She didn't know if she had the strength to fight her own son, but she knew one thing. Silence had nearly killed her, and if she stayed silent any longer, it would. The city lights blurred outside, and Monica tightened her grip on her bag. Somewhere deep inside, the weight of silence began to shift. The cab rattled along uneven streets, headlights casting brief flashes across Monica's weary face. The package in her purse seemed to vibrate against her side, like it carried a pulse of its own. She tried not to look at it, but her mind couldn't let go. Every nerve in her body screamed that she was crossing a line she could never uncross. She had endured Ethan's shouting, his fists, his contempt. She had endured being treated as less than human in her own home. But this being forced into his world of crime, this was different. "Ma'am, you sure about this address?" the driver asked, glancing at her through the mirror. Monica nodded quickly, forcing her voice steady. Yes, it's right." But she wasn't sure of anything. The drop-off cab stopped in front of a run-down duplex. Paint peeling, the porch light barely flickering. Monica hesitated before stepping out. She clutched her bag tight, heart hammering in her ears. The front door opened before she even reached it. A man emerged tall, lean, with tattoos crawling up his neck. His eyes, cold and calculating, locked onto her. "You're late," he said. Monica froze. I just. He snatched the bag from her, rifled through it, then gave her a dismissive look. "Tell Ethan he's pushing it. Next time, it won't just be words." Monica swallowed hard, unable to respond. She turned and hurried back to the cab, her knees weak. The return back home. The apartment was dark. Ethan was waiting in the living room, sprawled on the couch, scrolling through his phone. "You did it?" he asked without looking up. Monica nodded. "Yes, good," he said, as if she were nothing more than his errand girl. "See, that wasn't so hard. Maybe next time you won't act like such a coward." Monica's chest tightened. Next time. He had no intention of stopping. The breaking point sleep was impossible. Monica lay awake, staring at the ceiling. The humiliation, the fear, the danger, it was all too much. She thought of Evelyn's words. "You don't have to keep living like this." The idea took root. Could she leave? Could she break free? But leaving meant more than just walking out. Ethan would come after her. He would drag her back, or worse, the law. Could she go to the police? Her own son. The thought twisted her stomach, but the alternative was unthinkable. She couldn't keep being his pawn. A conversation with Evelyn the next morning. Monica sought Evelyn at the bus stop. Her hands trembled as she clutched her purse. "Evelyn," she whispered, "can I ask you something?" Evelyn turned, her eyes kind. "Of course, if you were trapped, like really trapped, and the person hurting you was someone you loved." Monica's voice cracked. "What would you do?" Evelyn didn't hesitate. "I'd fight, because love doesn't mean chains. It doesn't mean silence." Tears burned in Monica's eyes. "I'm scared." "Being scared means you're still alive," Evelyn said softly. "But if you don't act soon, fear will eat you whole." Ethan's escalation that night. Ethan returned with another package, larger this time. He dropped it on the table with a thud. "You're going to make another run," he ordered. Monica shook her head slowly. "No." The air shifted. Ethan's expression hardened. "What did you just say?" Her legs trembled, but her voice came steadier than she expected. "I said no. I won't do it." In an instant, he was on her. His hand struck her cheek with a force that sent her sprawling to the floor. Pain exploded across her face. But deeper than the pain was the breaking of something inside her, something that had kept her silent for years. She looked up at him, her cheek burning, her breath ragged, and for the first time, she didn't feel only fear. She felt fury. The plan. Long after Ethan went to his room, Monica sat at the kitchen table, holding ice to her face. Her reflection, in the darkened window, looked back at her, swollen, bruised, but unbroken. She couldn't live like this anymore. She needed a plan. Tomorrow, she would talk to Evelyn again. Tomorrow, she would find a way out. For now, she whispered to herself, no more silence. Morning resolve. Monica's alarm buzzed at 6, but she'd been awake long before it rang. The bruise on her cheek had darkened overnight, spreading like spilled ink across her skin. She dabbed foundation over it, her hands unsteady. She caught her reflection in the mirror. A 52-year-old woman, heavier than she wanted to be, her brown face tired but determined. For years, she had hidden behind excuses. He's just angry. He'll change. He's my son. But now, the excuses felt like shackles. Today, she told herself, would be different. The bus stop, confessionette, the bus stop. Evelyn was already waiting, her scarf wrapped tightly against the wind. Monica hesitated before speaking, her voice trembling. Evelyn, I need your help. Evelyn turned sharply, reading the urgency in her eyes. What happened? Monica glanced around, lowering her voice. It's Ethan. He hit me. He's been using me, making me deliver things for him. I can't keep doing it. Evelyn's expression hardened. Monica, that's dangerous. You have to go to the police. I can't, Monica whispered. He's my son. Evelyn took her hand, squeezing it firmly. Then you need protection. A shelter, a safe place to stay. I know people who can help. Tears stung Monica's eyes, but for the first time in years, she felt the faint warmth of possibility. Ethan's suspicion that evening. Monica cooked dinner in silence, her mind racing. She tried to act normal, but Ethan's eyes were sharp, like knives carving into her soul. You've been quiet lately, he said suddenly, leaning back in his chair. Too quiet. Monica forced a smile. Just tired. Work's been long. Ethan studied her. You're not lying to me, are you? Her throat went dry. Of course not. He smirked but didn't press further. Still, Monica could feel his suspicion lingering, hovering like smoke. A phone call in secret later that night, when Ethan finally left for one of his mysterious outings. Monica hurried to the payphone near the corner store. Her hands shook as she dialed the number Evelyn had given her. A woman answered, her voice calm but firm. Safe Horizons. How can I help you? Monica swallowed hard. My name is Monica. I need to leave my home. It's not safe. My son, he's hurting me. The woman's tone softened. You did the right thing by calling. We can place you in a shelter tonight if you need. Are you in immediate danger? Monica glanced around, paranoid. Not tonight, but soon. Please. They arranged a plan. When Monica was ready, she would call, and someone would pick her up discreetly. For the first time in years, Monica felt like there was a door cracked open in the darkness. The trap, but Ethan wasn't as oblivious as she hoped. 2 nights later, he returned home earlier than expected and caught Monica at the kitchen table with Evelyn's card in her hand. His eyes narrowed. What's that? Monica's blood ran cold. She tried to hide it, but Ethan snatched the card from her. His jaw clenched as he read the words Safe Horizons. You think you can run from me, he hissed. Monica stammered. Ethan, His fist slammed into the wall beside her head, the sound reverberating through her bones. Don't you ever try that again. You hear me. You're mine. You don't get to walk away. Tears spilled down Monica's face, but beneath the terror was something stronger, a defiance that refused to die. Evelyn's intervention. The next day at the bus stop, Evelyn noticed the fresh bruise on Monica's arm. Without a word, she pulled her aside. He knows, Monica whispered, her voice breaking. He found the card. Evelyn's jaw tightened. Then it's even more urgent. You can't wait. Tonight, you come with me. I'll take you somewhere safe. Monica hesitated. The fear of Ethan's wrath was immense, but so was the thought of another night trapped in his grip. Finally, she nodded. Tonight. Night of decision that evening. Monica packed her hidden bag again, her hands trembling. She waited until Ethan left, then slipped quietly out the door. Her heart pounded as she walked down the street, every shadow feeling like it belonged to Ethan. When she reached the bus stop, Evelyn was waiting with her car. Get in, Evelyn urged. As Monica slid into the passenger seat, she felt tears streaming down her face, not just from fear, but from the overwhelming relief of finally moving. But before they could pull away, headlights flared behind them. A car screeched to a stop, and a familiar figure stepped out. Ethan. Confrontation. He stormed toward the car, fury etched into every line of his face. Where the hell do you think you're going, Ma? Monica froze. Evelyn started the engine, her voice firm. Stay inside, Monica. Ethan slammed his fists against the window. Open the door. You think you can just take her from me? Inside, Monica's body shook. The urge to open the door, to calm him, to fall back into silence was almost overwhelming. But then she saw her own reflection in the glass, the bruises, the fear, the years of brokenness. She whispered, "No more." With trembling hands, she locked the door and turned her face away. Evelyn hit the gas. The car lurched forward, leaving Ethan's furious shouts echoing in the night. As the city blurred past, Monica clutched her bag, her heart racing. She didn't know what awaited her at the shelter, or if Ethan would come after her. But she knew this. For the first time in decades, she had chosen herself. The chains of silence had cracked. Escape was no longer a dream. It was happening. But freedom always came with a cost, and Monica would soon discover just how high that cost could be. Arrival at Safe Horizons. The shelter was a modest brick building tucked between a laundromat and an old church. From the outside, it looked like nothing special. But as Monica stepped through the door, she felt as though she'd crossed into another world. Warm light filled the reception area, where a woman in her 40s, with gentle eyes, greeted them. "You must be Monica. I'm Ruth. Welcome to Safe Horizons." Monica's chest tightened. She wasn't used to kindness without conditions. Her fingers twisted the strap of her bag as she whispered, "Thank you." Ruth smiled reassuringly. "You're safe here. No one can get in without clearance. You'll have your own room, meals, counseling if you want. We'll help you start over." For the first time in years, Monica let her shoulders drop. The weight didn't vanish, but it eased. Her room was small but clean. A twin bed, a nightstand, a desk, and a window overlooking the quiet street. Monica sat on the bed, clutching the pillow. The silence was strange. No footsteps pacing, no sudden shouting, no fear of a door slamming open. Just quiet. But with the quiet came the memories of every bruise, every insult, every time she had convinced herself she deserved it. Tears slipped down her cheeks. "You're safe now," she whispered to herself. Safe. Ethan's fury back at the apartment. Ethan was tearing the place apart. Drawers slammed, cupboards rattled, the floor littered with papers and clothes. His face twisted with rage. "She thinks she can run from me. From me." He hurled the lamp against the wall, shards scattering. His phone buzzed. It was one of his street contacts. "Yo, man, you good?" the voice asked. Ethan gritted his teeth. "No, my mother ran off. Someone's hiding her. Find out where she went. If anyone knows, I want names." The contact hesitated. "That's your mom, bro. Maybe let her be." "Shut up," Ethan barked. "She's mine. Nobody takes her from me. Nobody." First night at the shelter. At dinner, Monica sat at a long table with other women. Some were young, some older, each carrying invisible scars. One woman, mid-30s with tired eyes, introduced herself. "I'm Carla. You knew." Monica nodded. "Just got here today." Carla gave a faint smile. "Toughest part is believing you deserve to be here. But you do. We all do." The words lodged deep in Monica's chest. For so long, she had believed the opposite, that she deserved the pain, the control, the humiliation. Hearing otherwise felt like learning a new language. Ethan on the hunt. 2 nights later. Ethan was parked across from Evelyn's house, his car hidden in the shadows. His knuckles tapped the steering wheel. He saw Evelyn leave for work, locking her door. His eyes narrowed. "You helped her, didn't you?" He followed Evelyn's car halfway across the city before pulling back. He wasn't reckless. He knew when to bide his time, but inside, the fury burned hotter. If Evelyn thought she could steal his mother away, she'd regret it. The counseling session, not the shelter. Ruth encouraged Monica to attend her first counseling session. Sitting in a small office with soft chairs, Monica felt awkward. The counselor, Dr. Hayes, smiled warmly. "Monica, why don't you tell me what brought you here?" Her throat tightened. Words felt heavy. But slowly, she began. "My son, Ethan. He's been hurting me, controlling me, making me do things for him. I thought it was love. Or maybe I just told myself it was." Dr. Hayes listened, nodding. "You've carried this burden for so long, but leaving doesn't mean you stopped loving your son. It means you finally started loving yourself too." Monica broke down, sobbing, years of suppressed grief pouring out. Ethan strikes Evelyn one evening. Evelyn returned home to find her front door ajar. Her heart raced as she stepped inside. The living room was a mess, cushions tossed, drawers rifled through. On the wall, spray painted in black letters, were the words, "She's mine." Evelyn's blood ran cold. She knew immediately who had done it. Her hands trembled as she dialed Monica from a payphone. "He knows, Monica. He knows I helped you. You need to be careful. He won't stop." Monica's stomach twisted with guilt. She had dragged Evelyn into this. She whispered, "I'm so sorry." Evelyn's voice was firm. "Don't you dare apologize. The only person who should be sorry is him. Stay strong." Monica's flashback that night. Monica lay awake in her shelter bed, her mind replaying scenes from Ethan's childhood. She saw a little boy with bright eyes, running to her with scraped knees, begging for comfort. She saw birthdays with cheap cakes, but full of laughter. She saw his father leaving, the night everything changed, and she saw herself, failing to set boundaries, letting Ethan's anger grow unchecked until it consumed them both. The guilt was crushing. Did I create this monster? She wondered. But another voice inside her whispered, "No, you tried your best. His choices are his own." A step toward freedom. The next day, Ruth handed Monica a pamphlet. "We can help you apply for a new apartment, even a job placement program. It won't be easy, but it's a start." Monica's hands trembled as she held the paper. "A new life," she whispered. For years, she had believed she was trapped. Now, tiny seeds of hope were being planted in her heart. Ethan's plan, meanwhile. Ethan sat in his car late at night, cigarette smoke curling around him. He had failed to track Monica so far, but he wasn't giving up. He had a new idea. "If I can't find her," he muttered, "I'll make her come back." He pulled out his phone and scrolled through his contacts, landing on one name. Someone ruthless. Someone who owed him a favor. His lips curled into a sinister smile. Let's remind her what happens when she betrays family. At the shelter, Monica was finally beginning to breathe. She didn't know Ethan was already laying a trap, already sharpening his claws. For every step she took toward freedom, Ethan was waiting in the shadows, determined to drag her back. And soon, their worlds would collide again, harder, darker, and more dangerous than ever before. A fragile calm for nearly a week, Monica settled into a rhythm at the shelter. She helped with chores, attended counseling, and even laughed once or twice during group dinners. But the calm was fragile, like thin glass. Every time the phone rang in the office, her heart clenched. Every time headlights flashed across the shelter windows, her chest tightened. She knew Ethan was out there, waiting. Still, there was progress. Ruth praised her resilience. Dr. Hayes encouraged her honesty. Evelyn called every evening, reminding her that she wasn't alone. But deep inside, Monica felt the storm gathering. Ethan's warning across town. Evelyn left work late one night. She walked to her car in the dimly lit parking lot, fumbling for her keys. Suddenly, a shadow moved. Ethan stepped out, his face half lit by the flickering street lamp. "Evening, Evelyn," he drawled. Her pulse spiked. "Ethan, you need to leave me alone." He leaned closer, smirking. "You think you can steal my mother from me? You think she belongs to you now?" "She doesn't belong to anyone," Evelyn snapped. Though her voice trembled, Ethan's smile vanished. He slammed his fist against the hood of her car, the sound echoing. "Stay away from her, or next time, it won't be your car that gets hurt." Evelyn's breath came fast, but she refused to back down. "You can't scare me, and you can't keep her." But when Ethan finally stalked away into the shadows, Evelyn's hands shook so badly she could barely unlock her car. Monica learns the truth the next morning. Evelyn visited the shelter to see Monica. When Monica saw her friend's pale face and trembling hands, her stomach dropped. "What happened?" Evelyn hesitated. "It was Ethan. He found me. He threatened me." Monica's heart shattered. "Oh God, Evelyn, I never should have stopped." Evelyn cut her off firmly. "This isn't your fault. He's the one doing this. But you need to understand he's not going to stop. He wants you back under his control." Monica's throat tightened. "Then what do I do?" Evelyn took her hand. "You keep fighting. You stay safe. And if he comes after me again, I'll go to the police myself." Seeds of doubt that night. Monica couldn't sleep. She lay awake, staring at the ceiling, Ethan's words ringing in her head, "You're mine." And then, Evelyn's voice. "He's not going to stop." Could she really hide forever? Could she rebuild her life while Ethan prowled the city, waiting for a moment to strike? A dangerous thought entered her mind. Maybe she should just go back. Maybe it would keep Evelyn safe. But then she remembered the bruises, the years of silence, the way Ethan had looked at her, not like a son, but like a possession. "No," she whispered into the darkness. "Not again. Never again." Ethan's desperation, Ethan's world was unraveling. His business deals were slipping, his contacts losing faith. People whispered that he was unstable, distracted. He sat in a dingy bar, nursing a whiskey, his eyes bloodshot. His contact leaned over. "Man, you're losing it. Let her go." Ethan slammed his glass down, liquid splashing. "She's my mother, my blood. She doesn't get to leave me. Not her, not anyone." The contact shook his head. "You sound crazy, Ethan." Ethan's lips curled into a bitter smile. "Maybe I am, but she'll come back to me, even if I have to drag her." The shelter shook on. 2 days later, the shelter was rocked by an incident. Someone had spray painted the front door in bold red letters, "Bring her back or else." The staff quickly covered it, but the message had been clear. Ruth called Monica into her office. "Monica, we believe this was meant for you. Do you know who might have done it?" Monica's hands trembled. "It was Ethan." Ruth's face softened. "This is serious. We may need to involve the police." Monica shook her head frantically. "No. If the police come, he'll only get worse. He'll find me." "Monica," Ruth said gently, "he's already finding you." Breaking point that night, Monica broke down in the group session. "I don't know what to do," she sobbed. "He won't let me go. He'll hurt anyone who helps me. Maybe I should just give up. Maybe it's easier if I go back." The room fell silent. Then Carla, the woman who had befriended her, leaned forward. "Listen to me. That's what he wants you to think. That's how they control us: fear, guilt, shame. But you've come too far to go back now. You deserve freedom. And if he tries to take it from you, then let the law deal with him." Monica wiped her eyes. The words echoed in her mind. "You deserve freedom." Ethan escalates. That same night, Evelyn returned home to find her tires slashed. On her porch sat a single photograph, her and Monica together at the bus stop, taken from a distance. Scrawled across the bottom were the words, "You're next." Evelyn's stomach churned. This was no longer just intimidation. It was a declaration of war. She called Ruth immediately, her voice shaking. "He's escalating. He's not just after Monica, he's after me, too." Ruth promised to tighten security at the shelter, but everyone knew Ethan was slipping further into madness. Monica's decision the next morning. Monica sat alone in her room, staring out the window. The city stretched before her, indifferent, alive, dangerous. She thought of Evelyn's courage, of Ruth's patience, of Carla's strength, of all the women who had refused to be broken, and she thought of Ethan, her little boy, once innocent, now consumed by darkness. Tears blurred her vision. "I can't save you anymore, Ethan," she whispered, "but I can save myself." She picked up the phone and dialed. When the officer answered, Monica's voice was steady. "My name is Monica James. I need to file a restraining order against my son." As she hung up, Monica felt both terrified and liberated. She had crossed a line she could never uncross. For the first time, she wasn't just running, she was fighting back. But she knew Ethan. He wouldn't see it as a legal matter. He would see it as betrayal. And betrayal, in Ethan's world, demanded revenge. The restraining order was approved within 2 days. Ruth handed Monica the official papers. "You did the right thing," Ruth assured her. "This is a step toward reclaiming your life." Monica held the paper with trembling hands. It felt powerful and fragile at once. A single sheet of protection against the storm named Ethan. She whispered, "What if he doesn't care?" Ruth's expression turned grave. "Then, the law will have to care. But you can't live in fear forever, Monica. You're stronger than you think." Ethan's rage unleashed when Ethan received notice of the restraining order. His fury erupted. He paced his apartment like a caged animal, tearing the letter into shreds. "She thinks a piece of paper will stop me," he shouted. "She thinks she can hide behind the law." He punched a hole in the wall, his knuckles bleeding. Then he grabbed his phone, dialing a number. A rough voice answered. "Yeah." Ethan's tone was sharp, venomous. "I want you to send her a message, something she won't forget. If I can't get to her, I'll get to the people around her." The voice hesitated. "You sure about this, Ethan? It's your own mother we're talking about." "She's not my mother anymore," Ethan spat. "She's a traitor." The attack 3 nights later. Evelyn closed her bookstore late. She was locking up when she felt the presence behind her. Before she could turn, a hand grabbed her shoulder. She spun around to see 2 masked men. "Don't scream," one hissed. But Evelyn did scream just once before. A fist struck her face. Pain exploded, her knees buckling. They dragged her into the alley. One of them leaned close, whispering in her ear, "This is from Ethan. Stay out of his business. Then they threw her to the ground and fled, leaving Evelyn bloodied, her body trembling in the cold night. Monica gets the news the next morning. Ruth entered Monica's room, her face pale. Monica, I need you to sit down, she said gently. Laughter shot through Monica. What happened? Ruth hesitated. Evelyn was attacked last night. She's in the hospital. She'll be okay. But she was badly beaten. Monica's breath left her body like a punch. No. Ruth placed a hand on her shoulder. We believe Ethan was behind it. He's escalating. Monica broke down, sobbing. Guilt consumed her. This is my fault. He did it because of me. Ruth shook her head. No, Monica. This is his choice. His violence, not yours. But Monica couldn't shake the image of Evelyn lying broken in a hospital bed because she had dared to help her. The hospital. Visit with Ruth's permission. Monica visited Evelyn that afternoon. Evelyn's face was bruised, her arm in a sling, but her eyes were steady. When she saw Monica, she forced a weak smile. Don't cry, girl. I'm still here. Tears streamed down Monica's cheeks as she gripped Evelyn's hand. I should never have dragged you into this. Look what he's done to you. Evelyn squeezed her hand back. Listen to me. This isn't your fault. You hear me? He's the one who chose this path, not you. Don't you dare go back to him because of me. Monica's voice shook. But if I stay away, he'll keep hurting people I love. Then you fight, Evelyn whispered fiercely. Not by running, not by giving in. You fight with everything you have. Because if you go back, Monia, you'll never get free. Her words cut through Monia's guilt like a blade. For the first time, Monica realized this battle wasn't just about surviving. It was about choosing to live. The shelter in fear. When Monica returned, the shelter was buzzing with tension. The staff had tightened security, changed entry codes, even arranged for police patrols nearby. But fear lingered in every corner. The women whispered, "What if he comes here? What if he finds us?" Monica felt the weight of their fear pressing on her. She knew Ethan wouldn't stop, not until he got what he wanted or until someone stopped him. Ethan's visit 2 nights later. Ethan proved everyone's fears right. The shelter was quiet when a loud banging shook the front door. The staff rushed to the entryway but didn't open it. From outside, Ethan's voice bellowed, "Monica, you think you can hide from me? You think a piece of paper protects you? You're my mother, and if you don't come out, more people are gonna get hurt." The women inside huddled together, trembling. Monica stood frozen, her heart hammering. Ruth gripped her arm. "Don't move. The police are on their way." But Ethan kept shouting, slamming against the door, his rage filling the night. "I'll burn this place down if I have to. You hear me? Ma, you're mine." Monica's resolve. As the sirens wailed in the distance, Monica felt something shift inside her. For years, she had cowered. For months, she had hidden. But now, seeing Ethan terrorize not just her but innocent women, something inside her hardened. She whispered, almost to herself, "No more." Ruth turned to her. "What did you say?" Monica straightened, her voice steady for the first time in years. "No more running. No more hiding. He thinks I'm weak. He thinks he owns me. But he's wrong. He's going to see just how wrong." The police arrived, sirens flashing, and Ethan fled into the night. But Monica knew he'd be back. And next time, she vowed, she would be ready. As Monica lay awake in her shelter bed that night, she no longer felt only fear. She felt anger. She felt strength. She felt the fire Evelyn had ignited in her. For the first time in her life, Monica wasn't just surviving Ethan's abuse, she was preparing to fight it. And the war between mother and son was about to reach its breaking point. The morning after the shelter was quieter than usual. The banging on the door, Ethan's furious threats, it lingered in the minds of every woman inside. Some of them were reliving their own nightmares through Monica's son. Ruth called Monica into her office. "I won't lie to you," she said. "Ethan is dangerous. Last night proved he's capable of anything. But you showed courage, Monica. You didn't break." Monica sat upright, exhaustion in her eyes but steel in her voice. "I'm done breaking. I won't let him control me anymore." Ruth leaned forward. "Then you need allies. The police, the courts. They can't protect you unless you let them." Monica inhaled deeply. For decades, silence had been her prison. But silence had nearly killed Evelyn. It could kill Monica too. "I'll talk," she said. "I'll tell them everything." A dangerous meeting that afternoon. 2 detectives met with Monica at the shelter. Detective Harris, a seasoned man in his 50s, spoke first. "Mrs. James, we've dealt with cases like this before. but yours is unusual. It's not every day we issue a restraining order against someone's own son. You need to understand this will get worse before it gets better." Monica's hands trembled, but she kept her gaze steady. "I understand, but I can't let him destroy me anymore." She told them about the threats, the deliveries he forced her to make, the bruises, the night he nearly broke her ribs. She even admitted to the guilt how she had covered for him, enabled him, thinking it was love. When she finished, Detective Harris nodded slowly. "That's enough to open a case. We'll put surveillance on him, maybe even catch him in the act," Monica whispered. "And if you don't," the detective met her eyes, "then we make sure you're strong enough to stand against him. But you're not alone anymore." Ethan's spiral. Meanwhile, Ethan's world was collapsing. His business partners avoided him, wary of his erratic behavior. Debt collectors circled. His own crew whispered about abandoning him. He sat in his darkened apartment, staring at a photo of him and Monica from years ago, a rare Christmas where they had smiled together. "You promised you'd never leave me," he muttered, his voice breaking. "You promised, Ma." He slammed the frame against the wall, glass shattering. "She'll come back. She has too." But deep inside, a flicker of doubt gnawed at him. What if she didn't? What if she had finally chosen herself over him? The thought twisted into rage. If he couldn't have her, no one could. Monica's resolve at the shelter. Monica began changing. She volunteered to help new arrivals, sharing parts of her story. She attended self-defense classes the shelter offered, surprising herself with the strength in her heavier frame. One afternoon, Carla watched as Monica blocked a mock strike during training. "You've got power, girl," Carla said with a grin. "Don't be afraid to use it." Monica laughed, an unfamiliar sound, but a real one. "For so long, I thought I was weak. But maybe I was just never given a chance to fight." Carla nodded. "Now's your chance." Evelyn's return. Velen was discharged from the hospital and came to visit. Her face still carried bruises, but her spirit was unbroken. "You look different," Evelyn said as she hugged Monica. Monica smiled faintly. "I feel different. I'm tired of being scared." Evelyn squeezed her hand. "Good, because scared people survive, but brave people live." Monica's eyes filled with tears. "Then I want to live." Ethan makes his move days later. Ethan learned through his street contacts that Monica was cooperating with the police. "You little snake," he snarled, pacing his apartment. "You think you can betray me to outsiders? To cops?" He loaded a gun, his hands trembling but determined. "If she wants war, she'll get war." The trapped detectives Harris and Nguyen set up surveillance around the shelter. Monica agreed to be part of a controlled operation, luring Ethan into a confrontation where he could be caught violating the restraining order. It terrified her, but she agreed. "I won't run anymore. If he wants to come for me, then let him. But this time, he won't win." Ruth looked at her with both fear and admiration. "You're braver than you know, Monica." The confrontation had happened on a rainy night. Monica was escorted outside under police watch, pretending to head toward a nearby store. From across the street, headlights flared. A car screeched to a halt. Ethan stepped out, fury written across his face, rain soaking his clothes. "Ma," he shouted, voice hoarse, "you think you can hide behind them? You think they can protect you?" Monica's heart pounded, but she stood her ground. "Ethan, this ends now. You don't own me. You're mine," he roared, pulling the gun from his jacket. Police shouted commands, guns drawn. "Drop it, Ethan. Drop the weapon." For a moment, everything froze, the rain pounding, the sirens wailing, Ethan trembling with rage. Then Monica spoke, her voice breaking but firm. "I loved you, Ethan. I gave you everything, but I will never give you my life." The police closed in. Ethan's gun wavered between Monica and the officers, his eyes wild. Monica felt fear. Yes, but more than fear, she felt release. For the first time, she had spoken the truth aloud. Whatever happened next, she knew she had broken the chains. The storm was here, and the final reckoning between mother and son was about to begin. A night split in terrain hammered the asphalt, pooling in shallow rivers that reflected flashing red and blue lights. The air smelled of gasoline, wet concrete, and something more dangerous, fear. Ethan stood in the glare of the headlights, one hand gripping the pistol, the other trembling at his side. His hair clung to his forehead, eyes wide and glassy. Monica, her breath steady but chest tight, locked her gaze on him. The years of submission, the nights of Terrorball had funneled into this moment. Behind her, officers crouched with weapons drawn. A megaphone barked, "Ethan James, drop your weapon now." But Ethan didn't hear them. Or maybe he did and chose to ignore. His whole world had narrowed down to his mother. "You're lying," he spat, his voice cracking. "You said you'd never leave me. You said family was everything." Monica's throat tightened, but her voice held. "Family isn't supposed to hurt each other. Family isn't supposed to break bones and spill blood. You're my son, Ethan, but I won't be your prisoner." The standoff scones stretched into eternities. Rain ran down Monica's face, mixing with tears she no longer tried to hide. Ethan's hand shook around the gun, the barrel swinging dangerously. "Ma, just come with me," he pleaded. His voice had softened, trembling like a child's. "We can fix this. I'll change, I swear. Don't let them take me." The words pierced her heart, dragging up memories of the boy he once was. The boy who used to draw pictures of superheroes and leave them on her nightstand. But that boy was gone, and the man before her was a storm of violence. Monica shook her head slowly. "No more, Ethan. I won't follow you into darkness." His face twisted, rage replacing desperation. "Then you die with them." He raised the gun, the shattering moment, gun down. "Now." An officer shouted. Before Ethan could fire, Monica did something no one expected. She stepped forward, rain splashing beneath her shoes, and spread her arms. Her voice rang out, raw and unshaken. "If you're going to kill me, Ethan, do it, looking into my eyes, not as your victim, as your mother." The silence that followed was unbearable. Even the storm seemed to pause. Ethan froze, his finger trembling on the trigger. His breath came in ragged sobs. He tried to raise the gun higher, but his hand faltered. For the first time, Monica saw something break inside him, not anger, but grief. "I just wanted you to stay," he whispered. His knees buckled. The gun slipped from his hand, clattering onto the pavement. In a flash, officers swarmed, tackling him to the ground, handcuffing his wrists. Ethan didn't fight. He only wept into the rain. Aftermath. Monica collapsed to her knees, sobbing. Ruth and Evelyn rushed forward from the shelter, holding her tight. "It's over," Ruth whispered. "You did it, Monica. You survived." Monica could hardly hear through the ringing in her ears, but one truth sank in. She had faced the storm and lived. As they led Ethan away in the back of a police car, their eyes met one last time through the rain-streaked window. For a fleeting second, she glimpsed not the monster, but her broken child. And though her heart ached, she felt no regret. She had chosen life. Healing weeks passed. Court hearings began. Ethan was charged with multiple counts: assault, threats, possession of an unlicensed firearm. He faced years behind bars. Monica attended each hearing, not out of obligation, but out of strength. She wanted the truth spoken, written into the record of the world. At the shelter, she became a mentor for new women. She told them, gently but firmly, "You are not weak for staying. You are strong for leaving." Her laughter returned, fuller now, echoing through halls once filled with despair. She even joined Carla in weekend walks, discovering joy in small things: a warm coffee, the sound of birds, the softness of sunlight. Evelyn's graduation months later. Evelyn graduated from her counseling program. Monica sat in the front row, clapping until her hands ached afterward. Evelyn hugged her fiercely. "I wouldn't be here without you." Monica smiled through tears. "No, we wouldn't be here without each other." Closing reflections. One evening, sitting alone at her small apartment provided by a housing program, Monica lit a candle. She looked in the mirror, full, round face framed by curls, lines etched from years of pain but also survival. She whispered to her reflection, "You're free." For the first time in decades, she believed it. Final words: the storm had ended. The chains were broken. Monica James, once trapped by silence and fear, had reclaimed her voice. She was not just a survivor. She was a fighter, a mother who chose life, and a woman who discovered the fire within her own heart. And though the scars would remain, they no longer defined her. What defined her was the strength to stand, to resist, and to live. The story was no longer about Ethan's destruction. It was about Monica's rebirth.